Oh, we got problems here, guys. I just realized we had problems with the sound. You have to forgive me. We're going to. I'll tell you what. We're gonna fix this. We're gonna get this fixed. Let's see here. You know what? I think we're going to. We're just going to continue. We're going to march on here. We're going to march on because, yeah, we are. So, anyways, the COVID cabal was, and thank you, Green Tea. I didn't realize that was happening. Uh, thank you, thank you. Sometimes, yes, we're new platform. New platform. Rumble is a new platform for me, so you'll have to forgive me. We sometimes miss these things. So, anyways, well, actually, it wasn't a bad card. I think what it actually was an error in the operator manual or module. There was a setting that I had to hit, and just because it's a new thing, I do a lot of the production myself. Hi, seashells. I do a lot of the production myself because I like to share things and I like to manage things, and it's every now and then I make errors, especially when I move into new spots. So, anyways, as I've looked at what's going on in the news and I've looked at what occurred with COVID, it was very, very hard. It's a very hard time. We looked at what's happened. We looked at how things went. And one of the things that I think is really interesting and amazing is that we were right in 2020. In 2020, September 1st of 2020, I filed the first COVID case. And we were right about everything as of September 1st, 2020. We knew that masks were garbage. We knew that COVID was a lie. We knew that the death counts weren't what they were claimed. We knew that Fauci was a crook immediately. And we put it on paper. We put it on paper in a courtroom. We were attacked for doing so. We had a judge who I just think is lousy, who started out as a good guy, but then had an ex parte meeting with the governor and kind of went the wrong direction with things, and or with the governor's attorneys, and we just had a lot of peculiar things happen. We'll say peculiar. How about that? But yeah, we knew. So now, as I look back at COVID, and I say, well, yeah, Renz, do you feel good? Do you feel vindicated? No, I don't feel vindicated. I am vindicated for sure. But what I actually feel is sad. Millions dead. How many babies died? How many moms thought that they were protecting their babies because they listened to Anthony Fauci and they went out and they got a COVID vaccine, right? They got a COVID vaccine thinking they were going to protect their kids, protect their unborn babies. And what happened was, it created it was a chemical abortion. The parents didn't know. They didn't know that they were going to murder their babies by taking this. It wasn't the parents that did it. It was Anthony Fauci, Borla, Bill Gates, all the people lying that facilitated the murder of our children, of these unborn babies, with these COVID vaccines. And now they're trying to pretend that it's not the case. By the way, it's interesting because I see them fact checking this 82% number. The problem is that that number, they're claiming that the denominator is wrong, and when we figure it out, and that the real number is, the background noise. The problem is that so many of the people were unaccounted for in that test that we really don't know what's going on. We don't really know where the real numbers are, but what we do know is that the real numbers are not good and never have been. And there's no way to actually know what the real numbers are because Fauci made sure, and his crooked friends at HHS made sure that we didn't have a way to actually track how many people were dead and dying from these interventions. So we're going to get into all that. Before we do, I got to do a little quick grift here, please. So please consider supporting us. GiveSendGo.com/RenzLaw. GiveSendGo.com/RenzLaw. That's me testifying at Ron John's hearing. That's me where I broke the information about how many of our military personnel were being murdered with the COVID vaccines. It was something that, boy, I took a lot of beating on that. I was told I was the worst person on the planet for telling the truth about that. Interestingly enough, that hearing occurred on my birthday, January 24th. And, I flew down to Washington on my birthday to testify, testified for a few minutes. It was the shot heard around the world, made a huge impact and hopefully saved a lot of lives. But at the end of the day, we saved a lot, but not enough. We're still fighting. We're still doing what we got to do. It says my audio is bad. I don't know what's going on here. Is that any better, Archibald Debunker? Yeah. Is anybody else having trouble with audio? Let me know in the comments if you are. I'm watching the comments. We're on it, so let me know what's going on there. But anyways, givesendgo.com/RenzLaw. Also, go to TomRenz.com, www.tomrenz.com. Click on Shop, Partners, and Affiliates. And tonight we're highlighting my friends at Global Healing. You can see the link in the comments. Global Healing and especially men's hormone support, one of my favorites. If you're over 40, you should be using men's hormone support. If you're, if you're a lot of these wimpy little millennials, you should probably be using men's hormone support. The endocrine disruptors and all the different things that are out there. Men's hormone support is a great thing, great thing. So please check out men's hormone support and Global Healing. Rumble wide. Dusty Sky's telling me that the audio on Rumble is a little bit messy right now, and I apologize for that, guys. I have no control over that. We're using the same setup, and I double checked the settings while I was talking to y'all. Settings are the same, everything's good. So I apologize for any audio issues. From our end, it is proper and it is checking out and everything's looking good. So I apologize for that. I can't control Rumble, but we're gonna keep going because the show must go on one way or another. So, anyways, as I said before, today I was asked by a friend of mine about feeling vindicated, and it led me to this. I posted this today, just before the show, and I want to share that. Thanks, Green Tea. I love you guys. We have the best people on the planet that support us. So thank you guys for your support. By the way, hit like and share, and on Twitter, on Rumble, whatever you can, like and share us if you could. Anyways, that actually does make a big impact on viewership. We're pretty, man, our reach is limited in a lot of places still to this day. So the likes and shares do make a big difference. Anyways, so I posted this before we started the show, and I'm just going to read this to you guys because, and I'm going to be real honest with you. Some of the stuff when I talk about it, I mean, y'all, if you watch me, I'm not exactly overly in touch with my feminine side, but I will tell you that some of this stuff, this is tough to talk about, right? Because I sat in this very chair for years. And I didn't move for days on end. I just researched and I wrote and I sued and I fought and I went to court and I went to the media and I went for years and years and years, fighting against the corruption. Like I said, we're finally seeing the truth come out. But while I was sitting here, one of the things that I don't think a lot of people understand is how many times this would ring, right? And it was a mom whose son was being murdered in a hospital with the hospital protocols. It was a dad whose wife and the mother of his children was being murdered in the hospitals with the hospital protocols. It was someone's cousin or grandma trying to get help because their loved one had been poisoned with the vaccines, and they were sick or dying, and no one would even acknowledge what happened. Some of these people were actually sent to mental institutions, literally sent to mental institutions. By the way, Dusty Sky is telling me that if you're having audio troubles, you might have to go out of Rumble and back in, and that might fix it. So you guys can check that yourselves. But I would sit in this chair and I would have call after call after call with people who were sick, who were dying, who were being murdered by our government, by our hospitals, by the doctors who they trusted to protect them. I had calls from people who were imprisoned in hospitals. I had calls. I was asked to deal with a case where a certain individual was actually beaten, literally beaten in a hospital for trying to leave. They beat this person. They gave him a shot, which knocked him unconscious. This person woke up a couple weeks later, dehydrated, half dead, because they'd been depriving them of food and water. And, was actually ended up having the strength to talk to his wife about what happened. And the hospital failed in murdering this person. This person got no justice. I couldn't represent him. It was in a state where I just didn't have any ability to represent. I'm only licensed in Ohio. But for years, I sat here and I listened to the horror stories. the people who were being murdered, the people who were being killed, while I watch dirtbag scumballs like Anthony Fauci, like Bill Gates, like Borla, all these scumbags sit up there and day after day tell me safe and effective, safe and effective. Oh, we're doing everything right. We're doing everything right. Now we see the truth. We see Anthony Fauci knew damn well that he was murdering babies. He knew damn well that these things were not safe and effective. He knew that this was a problem, but he didn't care because, as we saw in his diaries, this dirtbag was so enamored with the positive press that he was getting from these sycophants who were bought and paid for by Big Pharma. He was so enamored with his own star, with who he was, who he thought he was. You know who he really was? He was a murderer. He was someone who recklessly disregarded human life over and over again. And the result was people died. Anthony Fauci lied and people died. And so I sat here, and again, I was asked about how I felt. So here's what I said. I said, Anthony Fauci knowingly and recklessly ignored his duty to provide truthful information to the public. And the result was dead babies. He literally allowed mothers to lose their children for fame, power, and money. This is the literal definition for me of evil. I was asked today if I feel vindicated with all of this coming out. The truth is that it's soul crushing. Folks, I mean that from the bottom of my heart. It really is. I don't feel vindication. I feel sad. I really do. Neither I nor the hero lawyers that fought alongside me to expose this ever wanted to be right. We had conversations. I'll tell you that I had conversations with some of the doctors and lawyers who were fighting alongside me. And we hoped that we were wrong. We really did. We hoped that we were wrong. We hoped that this wasn't going to be what it was. But we knew we were right. We had the evidence. We had the proof. So we knew. I said, we prayed and fought with all our hearts to wake people up and help them, to see what was happening, to save their lives. Sadly, far too many were unreachable. I pray to God for peace and health for those who lost so much due to this evil, to politics, to greed. I also pray that the people realize that this scam has continued and that the worst has not yet come out. I wasn't wrong before, and I'm not wrong now, sadly. And then I wanted to thank, and I want to thank, and I know I'm missing people, right? There's a lot of people I'm missing on this. Thank you, Robert Gargas, Jonathan Deemer, Anna Garner, Michael Hamilton, Ron Jenkins, Larry Beecraft, Joey Gilbert, Dr. Simone Gold, Nicole Pearson, Lee Dundas, and many of the other warriors that stood for truth and justice when it wasn't popular. We were excoriated, folks. We fought. These lawyers fought without pay. We funded this out of our own pockets. We did it because we thought it was the right thing to do. I've never seen a more brave and courageous group of people come together. I couldn't have been more honored to stand with the people that I stood with. And there were a lot of others. On the doctor side, there's so many that I didn't list. You know, I mean, there's so many. Of course, Peter Bragan. God bless Peter Bragan and Ginger, his wife. Pam Popper. God, oh my God, she was a hero. Sherry Tenpenny. The list goes on. I can't try and list everybody because there were too many. But I sat here in this desk and I just fought. And no matter what I did, I kept getting the calls about people dying. No matter how many times we sued, no matter how many days I went without sleep, more and more people kept dying. And I don't feel vindicated. I don't at all. What I feel is sick. I feel sick that this crooked ass administration just approved another mRNA vaccine from Moderna. Why? Well, because allegedly Trump got a whole bunch of money to never say anything bad about mRNA. Why? Because the corrupt power structure that is still in place at HHS is continuing to undermine Bobby Kennedy and make damn sure that he can't get things done. Why? Because Susie Wiles and her lobbyist buddies who kiss ass with pharma every single day continue to try and cover up what's happening. Thank God for Mary Tyler Bowden. Thank God for McCullough waking up. Thank God for Pierre Corey. for Ryan Cole, for all these people that woke up and that fought. Thank God that they're still fighting. Some of us got real tired, and some of them have picked up and really carried the torch. I'm still fighting, by the way, very, very actively. You may not see what I'm doing because not all of it's public, but I assure you, I will never leave this. It was brutal, guys. It was really brutal. Let me show you this. Now, I want to tell you guys, for the first 5 years of COVID, if you Google search my name, all you would find is hit pieces. Now, let me show you what I did. I Google searched my name, Tom Renz, and I clicked news. You still see YouTube censors Ohio House hearing for COVID-19 misinformation with my picture. The Ohio Capital Journal was here in Ohio. It's a small no-name press. They had a scumbag that just covered this and just lied and lied and lied to his teeth. Yeah, it might have just been that he was that stupid. But you know, this little weenie, who I'm not going to mention his name, you know, he did hit piece after hit piece on our work. Here you got the ABA, the American Bar Association. They couldn't attack me enough, right? Newly minted lawyer challenges COVID restrictions, and they attacked me for my cases. Here was the Fiesta Resistance, right? The Washington Post. These guys followed me around for months, looking for an opportunity to try and destroy me. When they couldn't find out anything good, they just made shit up. We took hit pieces in the New York Times, Washington Post, LA Times, all over the place. We were attacked and attacked and attacked. That was the thanks we got. My fellow lawyers, they were attacked. I had people who had bar complaints, who had sanctions, who had this, who had that. People went broke. People lost everything fighting to get the truth out that we now know to be accurate. That Anthony Fauci was a lying crook, that our government was part of a corrupt RICO scam used to destroy America and to destroy America's health. We're seeing the truth come out now. I was maligned for everything. I was attacked for everything. Let me remind you guys of this one. Do you guys remember this? This was a very big deal. Let me show you this. We're going to play this. This is me. Here you see Senator Ron Johnson had the courage to have a roundtable on January 24th, 2022, my birthday. And I had the opportunity, and here you see Lee Dundas, who it was because of her that I was able to get all this done. She introduced me to the whistleblowers, and we were able to pull this all together. And I was able to take a group of courageous military men and women who did the work, who put their butts at risk. I was able to get them whistleblower protections, and they wanted to make this data public, so I did just that. Teresa Long, Pete Chambers, a couple other guys, just heroes, absolute heroes. I'm honored to know them. And here's what we said. Let me just play this for you guys.
Tell me, apparently one of the whistleblowers is brave enough to come forward and give a name, or I would not have allowed you to come.
Yes, Senator. So we've got 3 whistleblowers who've given me permission at this point to share their name. Lieutenant Colonel Dr. Teresa Long, DO-MPH, Dr. Samuel Sigloff, and Lieutenant Colonel Dr. Peter Chambers, DO and Flight Surgeon. All 3 have given me this data. I have declarations from all 3. This data is under penalty. This is under penalty of perjury. We intend to submit this to the courts.
We did.
We have substantial data showing that we saw, for example, miscarriages increased by 300% over the
300%. Huh. Didn't Fauci say, what is that? Wasn't that, aren't we just finding out that was true?
5-year average, almost. We saw almost 300% increase in cancer over the 5-year average. Cancer is not being talked about except for by Dr. Ryan Cole. Thank you, doctor. We saw, this one's amazing, neurological. So neurological issues which would affect our pilots. Over 1,000% increase. 1,000.
10 times. That's 10 times the rate, and obviously that Resolution 3.
83,000 per year, I'm sorry, 82,000 per year to 863,000 in 1 year. Our soldiers are being experimented on, injured, and sometimes possibly killed. Dr. Corey, thank you so much for your stance on the corruption. That's precisely what it is. They know this, and Senator,
They know this.
when these doctors
They know this. They knew this. I had the evidence. Anthony Fauci knew this in 2022. Everybody knew this. They lied. They murdered our soldiers. They murdered our children. They murdered so many folks.
are attacked, not necessarily the people in this room, I'm not giving names, they call me. I'm the one dealing with the medical boards. I'm the one watching the witch hunts. I'm the one fighting them off, and I'm the one telling them where to go. I'm going to keep doing that. Senator, we also have, let me give you this last thing, and then I'll shut up and get out of your way. 9/28/2021. Project Salus weekly report. Project Salus is a Defense Department initiative where they report and they take all this data that doesn't exist supposedly, and they give it to the CDC. They're watching these vaccines. On that date and around that date, I have numerous instances where Fauci and that entire crew were saying it's a crisis of unvaxxed. It's 99% unvaxxed in the hospital. In Project Salus, in the weekly report, the DoD document, says specifically 71% of new cases are in the fully vaxxed and 60% of hospitalizations are in the fully vaxxed. This is corruption at the highest level. We need investigations. The Secretary of Defense needs investigated. The CDC needs to be investigated. And thank you so much, Senator, for having the courage to stand against these special interests.
So,
Amen. We still haven't heard about Project Salus. We still haven't heard about it. And thank you, Mel B, for watching and for everybody that's there. The thanks I got for this was I watch our Defense Department go in and then manipulate the DMED data. They didn't manipulate the data that we had. They tried to manipulate the 5-year averages prior to COVID. This was corruption on a profound level. We watch. We saw this. I have the evidence. I still have the evidence. I would be happy to share it if someone wants to see it. And yes, the SV40 contaminated poisons that they continue to use, thus the cancer. Thus the cancer. We knew what was happening then. We still know what's happening. And here's another post on it. I like this one. 1 year. This is an old post. 1 year anniversary of it. Folks, our government knew and continues to know what this is. Apparently, Donald Trump's the only guy out there that still doesn't have a clue, or he doesn't care. I don't care which one is the case. I am no longer okay with what's happening here. When they decided to issue the Moderna mRNA flu vaccine, they lost me, right? They lost me. I'm no longer supporting what this administration is doing in any way, shape, or form related to MAHA. This crap executive order that they reissued yesterday has no teeth. It's an executive order. There's nothing meaningful coming from it. And it's after so many cases have already been decided that unless I see some real action on this, I don't care. And I don't expect to see any real action because they talk, but they don't do anything. It's been 2 years now, and we've seen no accountability from anyone. We've seen nothing happen anywhere. We can't even get accountability on election fraud. I don't expect that this administration, who is still bragging about Operation Warp Speed, is going to do a damn thing to try and get to the bottom of this. They're just not going to. It's not going to happen. So, yeah, this whole thing is insane to me. The data's there. It's being kept from the right people. And, we know what it is. We know where it is. We know what's going on. We just know that they aren't going to do anything. When I'm asked, Renz, do you feel vindicated? No. I mean, when I go to the cancer ward and I see kids getting brought in, children, babies with colon cancer, children with breast cancer. When I see these things happen, how can I feel vindicated? There's no vindication. What? Because now we're starting to hear the truth? No. When Albert Bourla, Bill Gates, half of HHS, Anthony Fauci, and the rest of them are in jail, then maybe I'll start to feel some sense of justice has been accomplished. Now, I can't put people in jail, folks. I'm a lawyer. I'm not a prosecutor. Prosecutors are lawyers, but lawyers aren't necessarily prosecutors. I don't have a job as a prosecutor. And even if I took a job with the DOJ, they would never let me put these people in jail. This administration is pushing mRNA. They're pushing it. They're not going to do anything to stop this. They don't want to stop this. They want it. They want more of this. The right people are making money, so they just keep going with this. And they use Bobby Kennedy. They're using the hell out of this guy. I love Bobby. Bobby's a good man. He's been fighting hard, and I think he's still fighting hard. I don't think he's sold out. I think he's doing what he can. But I talk to the people at HHS. I talk to people who are loyal to him, and I hear about how the staff and how the people around him are undermining him, how they're manipulating him, what they're trying to do. It's corruption on the highest level. It is mind-blowing what's happening, and it's continuing to happen. Susie Wiles and Pam Bondi love pharma. They can't get enough of it. Pam Bondi's gone now, thank God, but Todd Blanche has shown no indication that he's any better at all. None. I mean, he's responsible for hiding the Epstein files. Why should I care about Todd Blanche? Our children are still being murdered. We still have the COVID vaccine as a shared decision on the vaccine schedule. Shared decision. Why is that on there at all? There's no benefit for children, none whatsoever. No one has found a single benefit. Do you know that during the entirety of the main breakout of COVID, they have yet to show one healthy child, not one, died from the COVID disease? Not one. It was only after the vaccines came out that they were able to start finding kids dying. Only after the vaccines came out. Only after they started poisoning our children with these unsafe, unnecessary, and ineffective poisons did the children start dying. Moms, and I pray that the moms hear this, you're upset about the miscarriages and what you're finding out about Anthony Fauci and the miscarriages. Just so that you know, it didn't end in your womb. If you gave this to your child, you exposed them to something that was likely going to cause lifelong health problems, whether they've shown up yet or not, and that may well have shortened their life. All you parents out there who think that you were doing the right thing, I assure you, it was not the right thing. What it really was just your children being poisoned. Your children were poisoned, and it was a lie. You were manipulated. I don't feel vindicated, folks. I don't feel vindicated. Let me show you guys this. I told you guys that the you said. Well, let me show you this. Actually, let me go back here. So you guys saw this, right? So let me up here. So here, newly minted lawyers challenges COVID restrictions, impenetrable thicket of arguments. The judge who originally granted us discovery in the case and thought the case was great, then had a secret meeting, a private meeting with the governor's lawyers. Now, yes, you're not supposed to have ex parte meetings in that way. The Sixth Circuit actually recognized he wasn't supposed to do this. Afterwards, he changed the disposition of the case and started attacking us, right? So he put out things, and then things like the ABA Journal picked it up, right? That my cases were terrible. Well, let me show you this. This is the case that started it all, filed September 1st of 2020. Now, here you see, this is what's in there. This is standard case. And we went through a bunch of different things. Now, I'm going to scroll down here, and you can see, and I opened up, and you can tell me what you think about this. Over 110 years ago, at a time when medicine was not yet sufficiently advanced to have developed penicillin, and germ theory of medicine was still new, the Supreme Court of the United States made a ruling related to citizens' rights in health care that has remained largely unaddressed to this day. Over a century plus of time has since passed. The court has decided many critical cases revolving around individual rights that have never been squared with Jacobson. A century ago, many of our most sacred and fundamental rights were still being sorted out. Suffrage had not yet occurred. Civil rights barely existed. Critical cases on fundamental rights, such as interstate travel and bodily privacy, had not come into play. And the administrative state that we live in today simply did not exist. Today, under the guidance of an unelected administrative structure, many of the rights our Supreme Court has determined are fundamental under our Constitution are being denied. Do you remember being locked into your house, told that you had to mask, told that you had to sit 6 feet from your loved ones that you lived with? These fundamental rights are being denied, not out of prudence. They're being denied due to unfounded fear and intentional manipulation. So successful is this manipulation that even our esteemed Chief Justice, the Honorable Justice Roberts, was misled in a recent decision. And I cite that. I go on to talk about this in great length, and I asked that the court shut this stuff down, right? And I want to scroll down. I lay out a timeline here of what's happened because it was important to understand what was going on in Ohio. And then if you scroll down through this, you get to this, and I break down what happened to the curve. You guys remember the curve? Remember 14 days to flatten the curve? Remember how that went on for years? You guys remember all this, right? And yes, it was absolutely WEF, Club of Rome, and all these guys. They're 100% in there. They definitely 100%, absolutely, right? The curve. When COVID-19 first struck in the USA, there was a tremendous amount of discussion related to flattening the curve. We were told that there's a very real danger that our healthcare system would be overrun and people were dying in the streets. Because of this unprecedented danger, we were told that an emergency would be declared so we could flatten the curve, that once it was flattened, we could begin moving towards normalization. Remember 14 days to flatten the curve. You remember 2 years later, we are still dealing with this? The curve was referenced to the CDC's graph model that predicted tremendous surge in need for hospitalization around the country due to COVID-19. That graph was fraudulent. We proved it. We showed it. And I said, despite the substantial political noise, the dreaded curve never happened. The emergency supplies at our hospitals were simply not needed, and to our knowledge, all of them have since been dismantled. Remember when they were building the tent hospitals? They were building all the hospitals. They're moving in ships so that there's more room for the dead and dying, except none of it was ever used. It was a waste. It was never done. Another critical point to be made regarding the curve is the fact that it was clearly stated multiple times while making this case for the emergency declaration that COVID-19 could not be stopped. CDC and state experts said that we could flatten the curve, but the disease would continue to run through the population and that we would simply have to learn to live with it. So we asked, if the curve has been flattened enough to take down the temporary hospitals and there's no alternative but to live with it, why is there still need for an emergency? That was the fundamental question that I asked in this case. The judge didn't want to answer it. Deaths were incredibly misleading. I broke all the news, and then they quit talking. After this case, they quit talking about deaths, and they started talking about cases. You guys remember that? Remember the cases? Remember when they quit talking about deaths and started talking about cases? At the time of this writing, it is being claimed that there have been over 150,000 COVID deaths. It's untrue. We hope to get more accurate numbers, but the number of deaths caused primarily from COVID is likely less than 50,000. And that doesn't even count the number of deaths that were because of hospital murder, right? And I acknowledge this may sound like it's an incredible statement, but the key is to understanding how many died with COVID versus how many died from COVID. And what happened is during the early stages of the crisis, the CDC changed the rules for counting deaths. I included it in the evidence. Instead of counting from, they said anybody who died with COVID. So basically anybody who coughed when they were dying was called a COVID death. See, by the way, does any of this seem unclear? Is what I'm saying, does this sound like an impenetrable thicket to you guys? Seems pretty clear to me, right? And remember the 180,000 per COVID case that they were given? Remember? You guys remember that? At the beginning, they were giving hospitals $180,000 per COVID case. And a death from COVID-19 required no lab tests, but it qualified as a case. I mean, this is unbelievable. It was 100% inarguable what was occurring here. And I go through and I lay out the math, I lay out everything. I show that this is just insane. I literally demonstrated from multiple ways. Then I talk about the impact of our reaction to COVID, these lockdowns, hospitals and patient care, impact on health, impact on substance abuse, violence, deaths, and despair, impacts on human trafficking, impacts on children. By the way, I worked with a bunch of experts on this. This wasn't just me pulling this out of my rear. I did a lot of the work, but I want to shout out to the experts on this case who were amazing people. So many good people. Impacts on children, impacts on the economy, policies related to nursing homes. The excess deaths we were seeing weren't from COVID. They were from our reaction to COVID. Then I go into testing, the dreaded PCR tests. Remember? We went through this whole thing. This is in September 1st, 2020, right? We used the PC. We talked about the PCR, and we talk about how ridiculous it is. We talk about the fact that the guy who invented it stated it was never designed to diagnose disease. We stated this in September 1st of 2020. Then we talk about manipulation, psychological approach, and how we were manipulated. And I made an analysis of fear appeals in public health. I list how fear was being used to manipulate us. I laid this out in September of 2020. Folks, we knew. I was able to show this. And in September of 2020, I showed case fatality rate for COVID, 0.26, reproduction rate, there's the ranges, and I compared it. MERS was more dangerous, but we didn't lock down. COVID-1, more dangerous, didn't lock down. Seasonal flu, about the same. Ebola, much more dangerous, no lockdowns. Former flu pandemics, more dangerous, no lockdowns. The dreaded Spanish flu, more dangerous, no lockdowns. Tuberculosis, more dangerous, no lockdowns. Do you guys remember all of this? See, this is something that was ignored. We were maligned in the press. The whole thing was it was written away. They tried to pretend that it wasn't happening. But thankfully, thanks to you guys, the people that were following us early, thanks to the warriors, yeah, grandma killer, Green Tea mentions grandma killer. Thanks to the warriors that stood strong, we were actually able to get this out there. It made a difference. We were able to launch the fight back, the fight. We were able to launch what would actually happen. Folks, this fight isn't over. I don't talk about it as frequently. I'm working a lot behind the scenes. I don't talk about what I'm doing as frequently because I'm getting ready because there's more coming, right? There's still poisonous. mRNA is coming. There's more mRNA. They're now, they're back to mandating flu vaccines for Navy personnel in our military because they didn't kill enough of them originally. We're going the wrong direction on all of this, right? Way, way, way wrong. And so we're still fighting, but we haven't won. But we've laid it all out. I've known since 2020 what was happening. I've talked about it for 6 years. It's time. We need justice. We need justice. We fought for this administration because I thought Donald Trump was going to drain the swamp. I thought we had a shot with Bobby Kennedy coming in and getting justice. I didn't know that they were going to neuter Bobby and use him as a figurehead to try and push, to try and distract us from the corruption that they're just taking part of and continuing to push these mRNA poisons. It's more the same, folks. Glyphosate, mRNA, deregulating PFAS. It's just continued. It's just continued, and we're not done. We just haven't been able to. We haven't gotten there yet. We're going to get there. We're going to keep fighting. We will see justice. And I look forward to getting to that justice. It's going to take more time, and it's going to take more fighting. Luckily, as the truth is coming, I want to shout out to Rand Paul and Ron Johnson. Now, Rand Paul, I don't always agree with. There's things I wish he would have done sooner, but I'm appreciative for what he's doing now. And Ron Johnson has been the most consistent warrior in the Senate for truth on this. This guy has continued to do everything he can. We have one U.S. senator, one, that has been absolutely fearless and relentless on this. Now, we have some other guys that are doing okay. I mean, there's some good guys out there that I'm grateful for. But this has been led by Ron Johnson, 100%. The guy's still going. He's still there. And we really, really, we need this guy's we need this guy to play ball with, to keep playing ball with us and to keep going, because as the truth is coming out, it's waking people up, and now people are starting to recognize exactly how bad they were defrauded, and they're mad about it. So praise God for all that, folks. There's a lot more on this. I'm gonna have a lot more coming up on this, because it's time to revisit some of the old stuff and to kind of look back at it, because honestly, we need to really kind of take a peek at what's happened. We need to really kind of understand what has happened, and understand that the only way forward is for us to get to true justice. But we won't get to justice until a sufficient number of people have become awake to what's going on, to what's happened. Until that happens, we're going to continue down this path. We're going to continue to have more people dying, more people being poisoned, and it's only persistence that's going to get us through this. So, more on this coming up. Right now, quick. We need to do a quick grift. I want to put out there, and I want to talk a little bit about my friends at Rumble. Rumble has done right by me. They've done great things, and I'm grateful for them. Right. So make sure you're checking out the QR code to your left. And I want to promote Rumble Wallet. Rumble Wallet's it's a good solution. Listen, crypto's coming, guys. Crypto's here. It's where things are, and you can participate it or not. But if you don't, you're just missing out on the money that's there. I mean, there's nothing we can do to write crypto off. It's going to be there. It's a critical thing, and right now is the time to make some money on it. Rumble Wallet is a great spot to do that. So we hear a lot about crypto, but the part that most people miss is that crypto was created so you could actually own and control your own money. That's the truth. After 2008 financial crisis, Bitcoin was designed as an alternative to banks. So instead of the bank holding your money and delaying transfers, limiting access, and charging excessive fees, you're in control. And if you've ever had to wait for a transfer to clear, you felt that problem. I mean, I have that problem all the time. Now, fast forward to today. Everybody's heard of crypto, but getting started in it is still, it feels complicated, it feels convoluted, it's tough. That's why I use Rumble Wallet, and I do. I actually have, and you can tip on it, by the way. It takes all that complexity and makes it simple. Choose what you want: Bitcoin, dollar-backed stable coins. I do like the stable coins. Even digital gold-backed by Real Gold. I really like that too. Some of the gold-backed cryptos are pretty cool. No complicated setup. It connects with MoonPay, so you can use your credit card, debit card, bank, and be up and running in minutes. Once you're set up, you can even support your favorite Rumble creators like me directly. I got a link here. You can click on it. So do this now. Scan the QR code or click in the link in the description and download Rumble Wallet. From there, you can set up your wallet, tap buy, and you're in the game. In just a few minutes, you can go from hearing about crypto to actually owning some. Guys, I like Rumble Wallet. If you're going to be in crypto, check out Rumble Wallet. I like this stuff. It's a great product. Make sure you're using it. That's that. Okay. I want to move on to something a little bit happier here. I love Royce White and Enos Kanter. I don't know. I know Royce White's primary is today, and I hope everybody in Minnesota has voted for him at least 50 times. Royce White is awesome, and him and Enos Freedom are just Enos Kanter Freedom are just, these guys are warriors. So let me show you what's going on here. If you haven't heard, if you've been under a rock, these guys, they entered the WNBA draft, right? And these guys are they're legit, right? These guys are legit. There's Royce White. My pronouns are pay me. Royce White, by the way, Royce White, after playing in the NBA, actually fought some MMA fights. I don't know how many, but this guy has been just all over the place. And what's going on basically with this is these guys, the WNBA, Women's National Basketball Association, doesn't seem to be able to define what a woman is. They can't seem to figure it out. So because of that, and they're tremendous support for the trans community and them allowing trans people into the WNBA and welcoming them. Well, Royce White and Ines Cantor Freedom have both recognized and accepted the fact that they identify as women from time to time. And so they want to join the WNBA. And I mean, rules are rules. I think this is absolutely brilliant. Royce is absolutely out there, and he's standing, right? He's here you can see with Krasenstein. Krasenstein's really upset about Royce White wanting to do this. But Krasenstein, I mean, he loves this trans stuff. So it's a tough situation for him. Royce White says, "You've misgendered me again. That's toxic heteronormative bigotry," which I love. So you got Royce and Ines Cantor Freedom out there fighting. I thought this was great. And today I saw this from JP Sears. And guys, I'm gonna play this. I don't normally play longer videos, but this is really funny to me. And I just thought that this captured everything I feel about this. By the way, I don't get anything for supporting JP Sears. I think the guy's hilarious. So if you're not following him, make sure you're checking this guy out. He's really funny. But let me play this.
Well, looks like all the violent lesbians in the WNBA are going to get some stiff competition soon, as two former NBA players have declared themselves women, and they're entering the WNBA draft.
My goal is to help elevate the WNBA. I think the ticket prices and the attendance will soar.
We'll have the full story on these bitches coming up tonight.
I agree.
Good evening and welcome to We Lie to You News. The WNBA is very interesting to watch, and people genuinely care about it. Well, someone does. So fans love the league because they get to watch the women sometimes make layups. And well, they really love watching the angry lesbians beat the hell out of each other.
There's a lot of that.
A layup, but that is just
God, that's
a hard hit.
We're grab the hair.
Whoa!
So accordingly, fans are very excited to watch these two lesbians come in and beat the piss out of the other ladies. Ines Freedom and Royce White. Both are ex-NBA players, and they both recently discovered they're women. So they're entering the WNBA draft. Here's Mrs. Ines Freedom making her announcement.
Well, it's official. I just declared for the 2027 WNBA draft in April. Join me in this draft.
Now, he'll make an excellent center and probably mother one day. However, through some resistance, the WNBA commissioner looks like she might be stressing about this. Commissioner Kathy Engelbert has scheduled an emergency meeting so the WNBA can define what a woman is after these two 6'10" NBA veterans decided to be trans and join the WNBA. But I'm sure when Commissioner Engelbert is done bleeding all over everything and comes up with her definition of what a woman is, Ines Freedom and Royce White will meet that definition just as well as any trans athlete ever has. Now, some people have major concern about this. Not over the trans athletes having an unfair advantage, because after all, trans women are exactly the same as real women. It'd be absurd to be such a bigot to be too dumb to recognize that.
These two guys, Royce White and Glenn Rice Jr. Let's start with Royce White.
No, the concern is that these two new women would actually be way more attractive than all the other bags of bricks that are already in the WNBA. But whatever. Those ladies can go f*** themselves because nobody else wants to. Now, via satellite in the women's restroom at Disneyland, we've got Royce White on the line. Royce, how are you and your vagina doing tonight?
Right now, I'm just having a blast in my feminine era. I never thought that I was a woman.
You didn't know you were a woman until now?
You couldn't help it.
Would you think you were?
I've always trusted the science. I thought I was a man my entire life. But after further review, strong look at my personal preferences, it would appear that I am indeed sometimes identifying as a transgender woman.
Royce, are you excited to get into the WNBA and mix it up with all these nasty hoes?
And I think it's only fair I get a chance to play with some of my queens here in the twilight of my career, my athletic prime.
Do you take any offense to the WNBA commissioner holding an emergency meeting to discuss what a woman is?
Well, it's just astounding that the WNBA can't define the W in the name.
It is kind of ridiculous. She doesn't know, but the commissioner is a woman, so I'm sure there's a lot of things she doesn't know. Right? What's your goal when you take your ovaries onto the women's court for the first time?
My goal is to help elevate the WNBA. I think the ticket prices and the attendance will soar.
Well, given that after your NBA career, you did a stint in men's professional MMA, I really can't wait to see you dish it out to all those barbarians with ovaries in the league. Thank you for joining us, Royce. Enjoy looking at all those kids in the ladies' room at Disneyland.
Okay, that's enough. All right, yeah, that's pretty much how I feel about this whole thing. I gotta tell you guys, I just love this. I love this with every fiber of my being. I sincerely hope that Weiss and Freedom get the opportunity to play. I hope that I mean, I might actually buy a ticket and go to see them play wherever they're playing. I mean, that would be the best ticket ever paid for. It'd be the most entertaining thing I've ever seen. And all of this is amazing to me because you see these clowns on the left that they just can't seem to figure out what to do with this. They really don't know. They've been out there defending this for I don't know how long, and it's just ridiculous. So now they finally got a couple guys willing to say, okay, if you're going to do this, we're in, and it just makes my day. It's one of the best things I've ever seen. But hey, if the WNBA wants to let boys that pretend they're girls in there, well, then let's do that. I'm with Green Tea. I buy a ticket. I would love it, and I think it's awesome. All right, guys, listen, I appreciate you guys following. I appreciate it. I hope you guys share. I appreciate you listening. I appreciate all that you guys do for us. Please consider supporting us. GiveSendGo.com/RenzLaw. Make sure you're hitting like and share. Thank you guys for being active in the comments. I love that. We're going to actually coming up. I'm trying to get to where I can actually take in calls and do callers. I think that'd be a lot of fun. So I can actually just chat with you guys live. I think that would be like a kind of cool and fun addition to the show. And we're able to do it with the Rumble Studio. So I'm looking forward to that. So stick with us. We're still growing. We're still expanding what we do. And we love being here. So thank you guys. And we will be back very soon.